Hi, thanks for watching Food with Len. In this video, I'm going to make a really simple homemade vegetable soup. I'm making mine in a crock pot. You can make it stovetop or whatever. This is just a wild, out of the blue, whatever I had laying around soup. Vegetable soup, and I did it with vegetable stocks. There's absolutely nothing not vegetable in here. So here we go. And tonight I'm going to make a 100% vegetarian soup in a crock pot slow cooker. Now, a lot of you have watched my videos before and you know that I had some little funky striped slow cooker, but I use the words crock pot in my video a lot, so crock pot is a brand and they actually have a trademark. So I figured I'd go out and get a crock pot. And it's actually twice the volume. This is a 6 quart, whereas my other one was a 3 quart. Now, for starters, I'm just going to go ahead and put in some this is diced tomatoes. It's just a bargain brand that I bought. And I've got some vegetable cooking stock that I'm going to go ahead and add. Just eyeball it, probably about a cup or so. So we got everything moist. Maybe 2 cups, about half of this box. Now, if you wanted to, you could use chicken stock, but I wanted to make this completely vegetarian, so I'm using vegetable stock. Now for my fresh stuff, I'm going to go ahead and use 3 sticks of celery. I've got 2 potatoes, I've got 2 carrots, I've got 1 medium-large onion, and this is purely optional, but this is getting ready to go bad. I've got a red bell pepper that's starting to wrinkle a little bit, so I'm going to use that up in there, and then I'm going to throw some frozen stuff into it. So I'll get started with my celery. And I'm going to skip forward some of the things here. Alright, got all my celery taken care of, so into the crock pot we go. I'm also using a crock pot liner. I've never used one of these before, but since I'm really limited in how much water I have, because they turn off the water to my boat and I have to carry it out in 5-gallon jugs, quite a distance, I'm just trying to do whatever's going to create the least mess possible, because doing dishes is really a challenge in the wintertime. So let me just go ahead and get my potatoes chopped up. And I'm chopping everything fairly small. You can chop it to the way you like it, bite size, a little bigger if you want, a little smaller. It all depends. This is going to be more of a soup, and I'm going to have some frozen vegetables that are already chopped to a certain size, so I'm just going to kind of maintain that consistency with my chopping here. So let me get these dirt berries, potatoes, taken care of, and I'll get right back. Alright, my carrots, I'm just going to kind of half them up like so that they're not real big going in. And I'm just going to run through them, create little discs like that. Just chop through them. Alright, I'm going to do my red bell pepper first. And actually, I'm going to save that because I'm going to make some potatoes O'Brien. If you missed that video, go back and check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. It's just fried potatoes with a little bit of red pepper and some onion. It's a wonderful breakfast meal. It's kind of like a hash brown type thing, but not quite. Alright. So I'm just going to cut this into strips, and then I'm going to chop up those strips into little squares. So now I have my celery, my potatoes, my red bell pepper, my carrots, and I'm just going to break up an onion here. So I'm kind of glad I got this 6 quart, because it's looking like this is going to do a pretty good job of getting it pretty close to full. Now you might notice I have a jalapeno pepper in the foreground. That is completely optional. I just happen to have jalapeno, so I'm just going to put a little bit in there. Not trying to overwhelm it, but for me, just a little bit of heat. But you know, you don't have to do this, and you certainly only want to do this if you're brave. I'm kind of brave. So I'm just going to see how this looks. And it's not very much for the amount of soup that I have and the fact that it's going to cook down for several hours. So I'm just going to put a half of one, and I'm definitely going to get all the seeds out so I don't have overload in that department. Now remember, when you handle a jalapeno, definitely do not touch your eyes or, heaven forbid, some other part of your body. Alright, we got all of that in there, and I'm just going to take a spoon and see where I'm at with my liquids. I think I'm definitely going to have to add some liquid to this, because it's not really all that liquidy at the moment. Okay, so I've got a lot of vegetables in there, and I think I'm going to go ahead and some more of this. I'm going to lay off, and that way I'll have a little bit more if I can add, if I want to add to it after everything gets going real good. But one thing I do think that I want to go ahead and do is another can of diced tomatoes. Okay, I'm gonna let that go for a minute, and behind my tripod I have to get into my refrigerator to get my frozen stuff out, and so I'll be back in a minute with that, and we're gonna add that in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and season this, and I don't really feel like grinding salt and pepper. You guys know that I grind that stuff. Right now I just feel like putting in some salt, just eyeballing it. And I went ahead and actually got some ground pepper, and that went in pretty quick. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of stir that in, and I don't know if it's the bag, the new crock pot, or whatever, but I went to go do something, and my liquid's still cold. All right. So now to this, I'm going to add some frozen corn. You could add canned corn if you don't have frozen corn. You know what? I'm just going to go for it. Heck with it. All of it. All right. And to that, I'm going to add some cut green beans, frozen of course. Now if you're adding this stuff in from cans, you would want to do that like really late in the game so that they don't fall apart on you. The peas are a little tender. I probably will wait until a little bit later on to add those. So now I'm just going to go ahead and give these a little stir to toss them in there. But before I do, I'm going to add some seasoning to this. Not just the salt and pepper season. Let's see, I got some, all of these, most of these are fairly new, so I'm not even going to mess with that. I'm going to keep it down to dull roar here. I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. And that's good enough for me. Instead of opening my basil, my thyme, my oregano, and all of that other stuff. Don't need any cayenne or anything like that. But you know, later on as this develops, I'll come back for a taste. And look at that. I mean, it's just crazy. Now, there's one rule for soup, and that is that there are no rules on soup. I mean, you can make soup any way you want to make it. You can make it out of pretty much anything you want to make it out of. If you wanted to add something here, like say fish or some type of meat, you know, be my guest. Go ahead and add away. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my stock here, because I do want this to be a soup and not a stew. And it is pretty thick. I'm also going to add my peas later on. Oh, it's got a lot of stock in it. I don't know if I need all of it or not. Why not? Okay, that's a soup now. So if I need to thicken that up, I can add potatoes. Well, you know, there's a lot of ways I can go. But at this point, it is a soup, and it is a pretty hearty soup. And so I'm going to go ahead and just take my crock pot and move it out of the way. And I might just let this go overnight, or full 8 hours. Because, well, we'll see, it's 5:20 right now. Yeah, 4 hours, that puts me at 9:30, 10 o'clock. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and add most of my red pepper to that, because I won't really need that much for my other thing. Potatoes O'Brien, that's right. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this in there. This mixture is still pretty cold. So as long as it's cold, you can add whatever you want to. If it's heated up, you want to make sure that what you're adding either heats up quickly or is already cooked. If I had some beans ready, which is to say soaked, or if I had canned beans, I could add those as well. Not going to add any beans because my beans require like overnight soaking and stuff like that. So I'm just not even going to get into beans this time. Although I might. You never know. I'm just going to let this go and see how it looks and how it tastes in a little while. And I'll get back to you as we're continuing forward. Alright, my soup's been going about 4 or 5 hours now, and it seems like it's done, so I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off and see what we've got. Oh, in the meantime, I did add my peas shortly after turning off the camera. It appears this crock pot bag is kind of trying to fold in a little ways. Never used one of these before, so this is kind of a new thing too. Alright, so I'm going to give it a little stir here, and I'm going to pour some in a bowl, and we're going to see what we got. Alrighty, might need to add some salt or pepper or something. Pretty good. Pretty good. I think I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, but other than that, I think it came out really well. Well, anyway, I hope you try this, and remember, there's no real rules to making soup. Just make something that tastes good. You can use broths or stocks, or you can just use water. And as far as vegetables, anything you've got in your refrigerator that makes sense and tastes well together, go for it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'll make some other soups and things, and we'll catch you in another video. Thanks.